party at CKY. As you can see, all the little tykes are lining up to get their Christmas gifts from Santa. They're early gifts, of course. This is just part of the big fun and holiday celebration planned all over Winnipeg and all over Manitoba as Christmas slowly arrives. And speaking of Christmas, I want you to meet a bunch of guys who have got a great Christmas gifts for you. The Cross-Eyed Rascals are probably one of the best comedy troupes in Canada. And you know what? Next Saturday, they have got a big event planned free for you. It's a big double-header, and Tim Webster of the Cross-Eyed Rascals is going to tell you a little bit about it.
We have got, it's a free doubleheader. It's 3 hours of Iron Man improv. We've got special musical guests, the Four Corners, and they're an all-girl a cappella group. They are awesome, and they're going to spell us off, because every now and then we need to, breathe.
Yeah, and you know, the neat thing is that last year, you raised a whole bunch of money and all kinds of food for Winnipeg Harvest, and you're planning to do that again this year.
Yeah, Winnipeg Harvest is back, and Habitat for Humanity, and this year World Vision is coming as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it's at the Franco-Manitoban Cultural Center. It starts at 7 o'clock, I understand?
7 o'clock is the first show, 9 o'clock is the second show. Tickets are free.
Okay. Tickets are free. What else can you ask for? A beautiful night's entertainment at the Franco-Manitoban Cultural Center. Sorry, I was standing in front of you.
Oh, that's okay.
These guys talk too. In fact, you should hear these guys improv. It's just amazing. That wraps it up for Spotlight. Take in this wonderful show next Saturday, Franco-Manitoban Cultural Center, and in your own way, whichever way you happen to celebrate the holiday season with the kids, just have a lot of fun right now and be very, very safe. It's very slippery out there.
Thanks, Sylvia.
Theater Festival. For 10 days in July, theater fans will be experiencing some groovy flower power thanks to this year's theme.
The 2005 Winnipeg Fringe Psychedelic Fringe.
Tonight, the annual Fringe Festival Lottery took place with 191 companies vying for 110 spots in North America's second largest Fringe Fest. And since last year's event set another attendance record, the pressure is on to do as well this year. Perhaps that's why organizers decided to go psychedelic with the event.
Hello, it's cool. So no, we're trying to have some fun with it. It's the rage nowadays.
Psychedelic Fringe will run from July 20th to the 30th.
And the Winnipeg Fringe Festival is still months away, but if you were at the King's Head pub tonight, you wouldn't know it. An eclectic crowd of about 50 gathered for the annual Fringe Lottery this evening. About 85 companies applied for a coveted spot on the Fringe schedule. 55 companies were randomly chosen and given the go-ahead to produce a Fringe show. The theme of this year's Fringe was also unveiled tonight. Prepare yourself for a psychedelic experience.
I think that we're just striving to have fun. It's great theater, great companies got into the festival, so we just got to keep doing what we do, and that's providing good theater.
You may pay more to see some Fringe Festival productions this summer. For the past couple of years, the festival hasn't included the city's entertainment tax in the price of tickets. But now the city is cracking down, and it expects organizers to collect. However, organizers say it's not that simple. Marissa Dragani explains.
I will take the ring to Mordor.
This year, you may have to pay 10% more to see this one-man act from Toronto. His show probably doesn't meet the criteria to exempt it from the 10% entertainment tax. To escape it, a production has to have 60% local content among some other criteria. For years, the festival didn't charge the tax. It's organized under the umbrella of the Manitoba Theatre Centre, which is exempt from charging it. Now, the city views each Fringe act as a separate production which must apply for tax exemption status. So producers of each of the 135 plays performing this year have to apply for an individual exemption. Winnipeg had the highest Fringe ticket sales in North America last year, $439,000. Organizers fear this new tax will hurt the event.
People will choose not to partake in the festival. They'll choose to skip Winnipeg. We'll have companies just not coming here. It's difficult to perform, and so it's just another barrier to leap over to make it happen.
Jazz Winnipeg feels it's in the same position. It has 80 acts performing at its festival in June, each considered a separate event by the city. But the executive director says it's one event and should be tax exempt.
Our two organizations should be supported you know, just we shouldn't have to deal with this, with these kinds of issues. At the very least, there should be clarity in the bylaw and the application of the bylaw, not this sort of Charlie Brown wishy-washy approach to it.
The city doesn't think an extra 10% is going to stop Winnipeggers from coming to concerts like this one. And the mayor, long an advocate of abolishing the tax, still doesn't like it. But Sam Cates says groups have to collect it. All the money goes to the arts anyway, he says.
You have to remember that if suddenly there was no entertainment tax and no money to turn over to WAC for the arts community would be up in arms saying, we need the money, you took away the money. So you can't have it both ways. What we have to do is find some common ground and make this simple.
Kate says the big venues, such as the movie theaters and the concert hall, pull in 99% of the revenue, and he thinks maybe they should be the only ones collecting it. He says the matter is up before the Red Tape Commission, and City Council will discuss it next week. Marissa Dragani, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg City Hall has decided to exempt the Fringe Festival from an entertainment tax. Now, the city flip-flopped on its decision after a plea to change the rules.
Please use your authority today to waive this silly, painful, and unnecessary burden from these wonderful festivals that bring so much to our city.
It's called the entertainment funding tax. Non-profit charitable organizations are now exempt from the tax, but only if they can meet certain criteria. The city had considered taxing the Fringe because just 50% of the performers were local. The city demands 60%. Today, City Hall took into account workers behind the stage and concluded the Fringe does fall under the rules. Manitoba Theatre Centre is behind the Fringe. It says it would lose audience and money if they were forced to pay taxes.
It wouldn't necessarily affect what they would see. It would affect their ticket prices, and it would also affect the number of individuals who would attend.
How do you do?
Now, MTC recommended eliminating the tax for organizations using venues with 1,000 seats or less.
Performers. The Fiscal Issues Committee has decided MTC's Winnipeg Fringe Festival will not have to pay a 10% entertainment tax. That means ticket prices for the Fringe will stay at $8 a pop. As part of a non-profit arts organization, the Fringe Festival has traditionally been spared the surcharge, but just recently, tax collectors asked MTC to start paying up, which in turn would have raised ticket prices by about $1. That had organizers and performers worried about smaller audiences. They took their cause to City Hall today, and while the exemption still has to be rubber stamped, things look promising.
The average Canadian performer makes $5,000 a year. You start skimming money off of that, and it gets much harder for performers. So I think it's a victory for everybody.
The city is looking into the way the entertainment tax bylaw is written to clarify just who is exempt and who isn't.
The Winnipeg Fringe Festival has managed to dance its way around the entertainment tax. Today, a city standing committee voted to exempt the festival. The tax is imposed on some entertainment events in Winnipeg. It's applied to shows that have less than 60% local content. The Fringe Festival has 50% local content, but organizers argued when you factor in technicians and stagehands, the festival meets the 60% requirement. The committee agreed.
The accounting nightmare that would create when it's really under one umbrella wouldn't seem to be worth the cost when it came right down to that.
I'm happy about this decision. It's one less thing to worry about, to administer, to be watching over. So it's something that will help Winnipeg Fringe continue to grow and prosper.
The tax has never been applied to the festival before, but city tax collectors intended to crack down on the Fringe and others not paying the tax. It would have brought in about $40,000 for the city.
Peace, love, and Fringe. In the spotlight tonight, the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. This year, more than 130 theater companies from around the world will perform. And with a groovy psychedelic theme, you may want to sit in on this year's festival. Tune in, turn on, and drop by Winnipeg's Psychedelic Fringe Festival. It's coming back for another year.
People look forward to it. The performers look forward to coming to Winnipeg. The patrons love coming out to see the shows.
One reason, you always get a wide range of shows at the Fringe. From song and dance numbers
Didn't you buy a program? How much are they?
to a little light comedy improv.
Does 5 cents count?
Watching Winnipeg's Cross-Eyed Rascals is a little like watching a live version of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Use your imagination on this one. So go ahead, take it away.
Very close, actually. Whose Line Is It Anyway is improv. Unfortunately, it's a show, so it's edited. And so it's a little bit harder when you're on stage because it's live. I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't get it. So.
Working live is a challenge, but it's one of the things bringing performers back year after year.
The Fringe is a place where you can do anything, right? Like this is a place where anything goes.
This year's Fringe Festival goes from July 20th through to the 30th.
All we are saying is give Fringe a chance.
There's free love, but almost everything else at the Fringe costs money. For advance ticket information, call 94-FRINGE, 943-7464. Or you can check out the Fringe Festival website. The address is winnipegfringe.com.
More than 100 theater companies from around the world, 21 venues, and the best of psychedelia sums up this year's Manitoba Fringe Festival. Global's Jamie Dahl has a preview of the 18th Annual Fringe Fest and this year's Far Out.
This year we're closing on the Saturday of the August long weekend, so we've got Fringe stock, so closing night party.
From July 20th to the 30th, 136 theater companies from around the world will bring 21 venues to life in the Exchange District. Music to Fringe goers' ears.
But there's a point you've got to stop when there's no other way but down.
Just a taste of playwright Joseph Aragon's 6th Fringe piece, Illuminati.
Every single conspiracy theory you've ever heard of rolled up into 90 minutes of musical theater.
But it's not all going to be musical. Improv theater is sure to psych many people out.
Bring anybody from your kid to your grandma and still not have to worry about, what are they going to say, because you know it's clean.
And if it's not clean enough, there's always the kids' Fringe.
We've got lots of great acts coming back. The Four Corners are coming back. We've got Mr. Mark. He's brand new. He's fantastic. So the outdoor stage is going to be fun, and the Discovery tent is packed this year.
Last year, the Winnipeg Fringe sold more tickets at the box office than any other festival of its kind in North America, beating out even Edmonton. It hopes to maintain its status of the granddaddy-o of all fringes, but organizers say this year, it's all about the laid-back attitude.
Hey.
Jamie Dahl, Global News, Winnipeg.
Buddy passes and frequent Fringer tickets go on sale this week. Well, we've talked about
this July, people can tune in, turn on, and fringe out. It's the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, and this year's theme, Flower Power and the 60s. It's going to be the biggest Fringe yet, more than 130 plays starting July 20th. There will also be Fringe stock, bands, and street performers from 5 p.m. to midnight on Saturday, July 30th in Old Market Square. And don't forget about the Kids Fringe, free shows and activities for your flower children. Once again, the CBC is sponsoring the Fringe, and you can
There was a Fringe sit-in today. Find out what organizers had to say about this year's event. Attorney Peters has all your entertainment news next.
But organizers want you to get ready to start tuning in, turning on, and fringing out. This year's event promises to be more psychedelic than ever, with more than 130 shows on the bill.
Flower power, peace, love, and friendship. There's some good vibrations for the 2005 Winnipeg Fringe Theater Festival.
We're mellow. We're just going to enjoy the sights, take in the shows, and enjoy.
I wrecked havoc and couldn't be stopped. Oh, the Doodah Day.
Last year, the event surpassed Edmonton's Fringe as box office champ. And now with 136 companies and 21 venues on tap, organizers say the Psychedelic Fringe will be bigger and better than ever.
There's something for everybody. There's 136 companies. They're doing all different kinds of work. There's drama, there's improv, there's dance, there's musical, and so different entertainment for the whole family, and people will be able to get to see the shows that they want to see and enjoy that.
New this year are Fringe sit-ins, a chance for you to discuss where the Fringe has come from and where it's going. But on the downside, you've only got 11 groovy days of festing.
So people are going to have to come out early and come out often to catch the shows that they want to see.
The Psychedelic Fringe kicks off on July 20th.
All right, appropriate music for this, the Magic Buzz. Hey, Wavy Gravy, how are you?
Good.
Actually, it's Nick. From the Fringe Festival, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, whole psychedelic theme happening. What's going on this year?
Well, we'll be grooving out at the Old Market Square, and 136 different companies coming from around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and we'll be having shows from noon to midnight in the downtown area.
All right, now, this is like one of the biggest Fringe festivals probably in North America, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting there. We last year sold more than any other Fringe festival in North America.
Fantastic. When we love our Fringe. Now, how did the act, give us an idea of some of the acts people can expect to see, and do they find you? Do you find them? How does that all work?
Well, we have an application process, and it's all lottery, so it's non-juried, and that's one of the mandates of the Fringe Festival, and it's non-juried, and 100% box office goes back to the performers, and we keep it cheap. So with that,
keep it cheap. I like that. I like that.
Winnipeggers
we
will
keep
love
it cheap.
Absolutely. It's affordable and reasonable. Anyways.
Train of thought?
Yeah,
right off the track there.
we have different kinds of companies coming in. So we've got drama, we've got dance, we've got stand-up comedy, all kinds of stuff. And
kids stuff. Which I've lived here, I don't know how many years now, and I never knew there was kids stuff at the Fringe. That's a whole nother audience.
Yeah, we have indoor kids shows, and we have the Kids Fringe from noon to 5 daily on the Old Market Square. So it's all kinds of stuff for them.
Now, how do you get tickets for these? Because it is spread out through the Exchange in the downtown area. How does it work? Can you get tickets in advance?
Yeah, advance tickets is open now from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. At 174 Market, which is our Fringe Central.
Fringe headquarters?
Absolutely. And so you can get advance tickets. You can get buddy passes, which are discount passes, or frequent fringers, which are also discount passes.
Frequent fringers. You don't want to say that too fast.
No, absolutely.
No. Well, that is great. How many acts did you say there were?
136.
All right, super. And the theme this year, obviously, we're going to the 60s and 70s feel to it. How did that come about, and how does that reflect?
Well, again, it's a draw for getting people out and relaxing and mellowing out and just enjoying the festival. And then the acts will fit into it however they feel.
That's a good point. It leads me to another question. Do you try to get acts that'll like kind of go with the theme, or that's not really an issue?
No, it's not really an issue.
Okay.
It's I mean, again, they can have some fun with it, but it's not. They'll do what they do best.
Well, that is absolutely fantastic. And if you've never been to the Fringe, you got to treat yourself to this. It is a hoot and a half. Some of the venues off the top of your head that people can look forward to seeing these shows in?
Well, there's MPC. There's 2 at MPC, 2 at the Warehouse, 2 at Pantages. So it's all in a central area. 11 days. So you got to come quick. It's a day shorter this year because we're going into the August long weekend. And so you got to get in early. Get in early.
Now, if people want a complete listing of the acts and more information,
it's on our website, winnipegfringe.com, or they can call 94-FRINGE, and they can buy tickets or they can get information on the shows.
All right. Well, that's absolutely wonderful, and we're so glad it's coming back to our city bigger and better than it ever was.
Absolutely.
And
it'll be fun. I wore my shorts for this.
Well, you look stunning. You look absolutely stunning.
It's going to be great.
All right. Now, listen, there's a show like this, obviously it takes a lot of volunteers to put this baby together.
Yeah, we have over 800 right now, and we're pushing for 1,000. It's great. I mean, it really makes it work, because we couldn't do it without them.
Well, if someone's looking to volunteer, you need another 200, what would they do?
Yeah, just go to the website, and there's an application there that they can fill out, and come on down, and we'll give them some shifts.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't you go far, because you're coming back after the break. We're going to give away some tickets. Don't move. 30 minutes to go. And you just saw the interview with good old Nick about the Fringe Festival. Well, we have some tickets to give away. And what we're going to do is give away tickets to callers 1, 2, and 3 at 777 to win. Caller 1, you get tickets to see Knee Deep in Muck, which is on the 20th. Caller 2 gets Self-Storage, which is Wednesday the 20th as well. And caller 3 gets Freak Out Under the Apple Tree. They're all at different venues. Give us a call. You got a pair of tickets. Callers 1, 2, and 3, 777 to win, or 1-866. Now you win, and you've got to be over 18 years old to enjoy these great tickets. So if you didn't win, get out to the Fringe Festival. Anyway, it's going to be a great time. And speaking of great times, it gets better and better, because look who keeps showing up. Good old Jimmy Mack.
See, Justin.
This summer's Psychedelic Fringe Theater Festival. So to get you in the groove for this year's event, here's a preview of Highball Productions' Fringe offering.
Hi, I'm Sebastian Ball, and this is our Fringe production costume.
Somebody has to be there to look out and be a positive role model in life, you know?
Yeah, I mean, how could a 5-year-old get by without knowing how to swear in German? It's a dramatic comedy. It's about a group of people, kind of two groups of people that come together at a coffee shop to talk about relationships and just issues and all that sort of thing.
I mean, it's pretty tough. Hey.
It's just a funny kind of play, and yeah, it's a good time. I mean, you know, people are going to enjoy it, whether they're looking for the comedic elements or the dramatic elements.
Longer the final frontier. The Winnipeg Fringe Festival is. The annual theater event gets underway tomorrow, and one of the shows brings the world of Star Trek from TV to the stage.
Spock. Connor set the line for self-destruct.
He looks like Captain Kirk.
You're a traitor. From a race of traitors.
And he sounds like Captain Kirk.
You belong with Circus Spock.
Maybe that's why Michael Chaldemose has named his Fringe Festival show Call Me Kirk.
Everyone says, hey, Mike, you know, your voice sounds like Captain Kirk. That's my voice. What's the mission of this festival, Doctor?
In case you forgot, Chaldemose wants to remind you. His Fringe show crams in every Star Trek reference he can think of.
Tribbles, Klingons, Romulans, beautiful babes.
He plays more than 20 characters, including Ricardo Montalban's Khan.
Now, I know something of those years at Capitan.
But he really likes playing Kirk in the show and in real life.
When I put myself in situations, personally, in situations, I would think, well, what would Kirk do?
In this case, he'd probably put on a Fringe show that lives long and prospers. Chaldemose will do the same.
I could be William Shatner's love child, but you can call me Kirk.
If you'd like to beam up some tickets to Call Me Kirk, well, you can.
Hi, my name is Mitch Crone. I'm with the Cross-Eyed Rascals, and we're doing a show called Cross-Eyed Rascals and the Psychedelic Fridge. No typo, no mistakes. That's the name of the show. What can you expect? Well, clean, improvised comedy that's all made up on the spot. So, you know, anything can happen, except it'll be clean. It's a great show for families to come to and for anybody who's really interested in the art of improvisation, because we've been doing this for close to around 5 years now, and we've been working our best to make it a good quality show.
And coming up tonight on 8 Channel News, the Psychedelic Fringe Festival kicks off today in the city. Our Wired team will tell you all about the opening day festivities. That's coming up tonight on News at 6.
For day one of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, well, details right after the break. Stay with us. Have you got your tie-dyed shirt yet? The Winnipeg Fringe Festival is underway, and it's all psychedelic this year. You've got puppetry, a political drama, a flamenco-style soap opera, and some oversexed teenage zombies. It's all part of a lineup this year that features 136 theater companies and 21 different venues. Global's Connie Tomoto reports.
Scissors, don't run when holding veggies, eat them or scolding.
From fake spear guys to feather boa gals.
There's no way Lorraine belongs at Mardi Gras. She wants to set herself free. Set herself free.
To a fierce and feisty press corps.
Let's move on.
So what your people are suggesting is that...
We're not seeing anything, Gracchus. There's no ambiguity here.
Now in its 18th year, the Winnipeg Fringe Festival has grown to become the largest fringe festival in North America and boasts a little something for just about everyone.
What's the theme this year?
Psychedelic fringe. So come on down, relax, and enjoy the sights.
This year, 136 fringe companies from across the world will hit the stage for 11 days of groovy performances.
This is it. It's my smile. I disarmed the ladies. Check it.
Very disarming.
You understand? That's what I'm saying. Chicks dig that.
According to frequent fringers, it's the festival's atmosphere combined with the sometimes quirky shows that keep them coming back year after year.
I just enjoy all the plays. I like that they're short and you can get to see a lot of them.
I think the Winnipeg Fringe is really great, and Market Square, there's nothing like this in that area around in Edmonton.
The marvelous entertainment and the creative energy flowing around the whole neighborhood.
Psychedelic Fringe runs from now until July 30th. Showtimes for the 100-plus performances can be found online, or you can pick up one of these programs, which also gets you into the beer garden at any Safeway or Liquor Mart. Connie Tomoto, Global News, Winnipeg.
Welcome back. Free love, flower power, and fringing. The 18th annual Winnipeg Fringe Theatre Festival is taking a trip back to the 60s. And in honor of this year's psychedelic theme, arts reporter Barbara Brunzell is tapping into the vibe. She's dragged her beanbag chairs and lava lamp down to Fringe Central, where she'll host a daily segment live from the Old Market Square. We join her now from the Cosmic Lounge.
Wow, man. Like Fringe on, baby.
Well, we're here at the Cosmic Lounge. It's the first day of the Fringe Festival, and we're relaxing in our beanbag chairs because with 1,000 shows at more than 21 venues throughout the city, we need all the rest that we can get. This year promises to be out of sight, the 11 days of the Fringe Festival. And with us now to tell us what's hot and what's not at this year's festival is executive producer Nick Wavy Gravy Kowalczyk. Welcome to the Cosmic Lounge.
Hi, it's really nice.
So tell me, the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, they sold 68,000 tickets last year. That's a record for the 7th consecutive season. What are you going to do to keep it up this year?
Well, we've got all the tickets ready out there. We've got lots of room for growth. 60% of the tickets are still available with that 68,000 record attendance. So there's lots of room. Get them, pack them in early. Pack them in, pack them often.
Well, we actually had a chance earlier today to get a sneak peek of some of the shows at the Fringe Free-For-All. This is the one chance performers have to pitch their shows to the public. And let me tell you, the vibe was anything but laid back. Take a look.
Space, the final frontier.
Wait, are you looking for a show to see?
Sex and intrigue and marriage and overbearing men.
What you see ain't what you are getting.
It's Winnipeg Fringe. The best thing that's really happening here right now is the mosquito.
Jeff, unfortunately, you really don't have all the facts.
Hey, you want some beads?
Well, you gotta earn them.
That's far out, man.
Mosquitoes. Now, I plead. Fabulous.
Hi, it's really groovy to be here, and just wanted to say we're going to have a love-in here down at the Fringe. If you can dig it, come on down.
So many options, Nick. I need your help on this one. What's got you buzzing this year? And I mean the performances.
Oh, yeah, no, it's we're so fortunate. We've got so many people from around the world, from New Zealand, Paris, UK, States, and all over Canada. It's really a great lineup for us this year.
And tell me, what else is new this year at this year's festival?
We've got sit-ins. We've got Oh, all kinds of different events at the outdoor stage and the kids' fringe, and we've got fringe stock at the end. We're going to close the street, and we're going to just relax and enjoy.
Well, last year on this program, you put out a challenge to the Edmonton Fringe, your rival, that you would beat them in ticket sales, and you did by 8,000 tickets. What's the challenge this year?
You know, we're going to be smoother. We're going to be slicker. We're going to do what we do best, put on the shows and relax.
Well, thank you very much for joining me around the lava lamp, because there's nothing like a warm glow than sitting in a little cozy conversation around it.
Yeah,
so thank you
enjoying
very
the weather.
much.
It's great. Thank you.
And what makes us a happening crib, actually the most happening crib in town, is the fact that we have prizes, and lots of them at the Fringe this year. Every night this week, I'm going to be giving away a Fringe pack. It's got lots of groovy items inside, like a retro t-shirt from CBC. Just call the number on the screen below, and I will take the fourth caller. Marissa, I'm sure with all this cool stuff, what do you think? You want to come on down to the Fringe and hang out with me in the beanbag chairs?
Well, it all depends, Barb, on who will be hanging out with you in the lounge tomorrow night.
Well, I'll tell you, if you don't consider yourself hip now, you will be by tomorrow night, because our guests, they're actually on the stage behind me right now, Sable and Battalion, and they brought you the musical you may know, Joan the Musical, the big hit, and they have a new show called Hip Hop for Dummies. It's a lecture that teaches you everything from freestyling to bling bling. So they'll be on the show tomorrow night. And of course, we will also have reviews from the street. People will get a chance to tell you what they like in our review segment, Speak Your Piece.
Now, Barb, where else can people find out the latest in Fringe news?
Well, on our website, of course, that's at cbc.ca/Manitoba. Just click on our neato little link there, and it will link you to the Fringe site. Also, CBC's Army of Culture Vultures will be out in force, and they promise to review all the plays by the end of this weekend. So there'll be lots of information for people to pick their best shows.
Okay, thanks for that, Barb. Arts reporter Barbara Brunzell live from the Cosmic Lounge at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival.
Out there, chronicles of life and death. Plus, the Psychedelic Fringe is ready to offer you some far-out fun. We'll take you to the event's kickoff. Your entertainment news is next.
Thanks, Lisa. Our city has gone psychedelic. Well, to some that might mean sex, drugs, and rock and roll. At the 2005 Winnipeg International Fringe Festival, it's all that plus theater. Our Adrian Silver has more.
Pornography. First crushes. University.
Three things that aren't usually associated with each other, but at the Psychedelic Fringe, anything's possible, man.
It's groovy. What can I say?
Let the flower power begin. The 18th annual Winnipeg International Fringe Festival officially kicked off with a kaleidoscope of color and talent, getting theater lovers in the mood for what's happening on stage this summer.
Look at downtown Winnipeg coming to life. I mean, this is it, right? People see this. It's in your faces, and people are walking around, and they're walking around at 11 o'clock and midnight.
Well, there was nothing but peace, love, and fringing going on off stage. On stage, the pressure was on. All of this year's 136 acts had the chance to sell their shows to the audience in 2 minutes or less.
I honestly didn't know how they'd react to a guy kind of lip-syncing and dancing to Tiffany's, you know, I Think We're Alone Now. But it worked well.
3 minutes before we went on stage, we were still discussing what we were going to do, because it's hard to do improv. We've done dance party sorts of things before, and people like to dance.
Winnipeg, you guys are awesome!
But the Performer Free-for-All isn't just a creative marketing tool. It's a great way to help Fringe fans start planning their next 10 days.
Well, it gives you an idea of the different shows coming, and we do fringing every year, so this helps us pick the shows we want to see.
And with 1,300 performers from all over the world, we need all the help we can get to fringe out. Adrian Silver, 8 Channel Wired.
What do I know?
And our Fringe coverage continues with a preview of Dawn of the Dad, a play about parenthood from 3 local comics.
Come see our play all at once. Come see our play. Dawn of the Dad.
Dawn of the Dad.
Dawn of the Dad.
Oh, man.
Oh, you're grounded.
The worst improv I've ever seen.
So I'd be running around the backyard fully dressed as Captain America. Or
Basically, the play is
It's about how we're dealing with life now after being raised by men who in the 60s didn't have the benefit of Dr. Phil or Dr. Laura or any kind of help that helps you interact with humanity on a whole.
He was the type of guy who estimated the job by how much beer it'd take to finish.
We're hoping for support because we don't want to think we're the only ones alone in this. I think there are a lot of guys and gals our age that have dealt with all of this. So please come out and support us, and please let us know we're not alone.
He was the type of guy who estimated the job by how much beer it'd take to finish.
So I felt.
Now, if you'd like to see a Fringe show on us, we're giving out 3 pairs of tickets to performances. And we also are giving out a Fringe prize pass, which includes 2 show passes, 2 t-shirts, a festival program, and a festival poster. Now, to win those prizes, give us a call right now at 777-2-WIN or 1-866-NOW-YOU-WIN. Salads.
I'm a drag queen.
And I plead fabulous.
They were.
This afternoon, there was nothing but peace, love, and fringing off stage. On stage, the pressure was on. At the annual Performer Free-for-All, this year's 136 acts all had the chance to sell their shows to the audience. But there was a catch. They had to do it in 2 minutes or less.
Well, it certainly is. It's the largest Fringe festival in North America. And it kicked off today in Old Market Square, and that is where CKY's John Hendricks is tonight.
So, John, show us what's happening there tonight.
Well, as you can see behind me, Janet, there is currently an act on stage, just one of many that you will be seeing over the course of the Fringe Festival. In fact, organizers say they intend to have an act on this stage between 12 noon and midnight. That's a lot of acts. And there's a lot of excitement going on with this year's Fringe Festival. We'll show you why a little later in Spotlight. I'm John Hendricks live at Old Market Square, where, as you can hear, the 2005 Fringe Festival is underway. Why this year's festival will be bigger and better than ever. Spotlight's next. In the Spotlight tonight, the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. Over the next 11 days, you are going to see more than 130 shows. You're going to see comedy, you're going to see drama, you're going to see a whole lot of other stuff. And joining us now is the festival's director, the producer, and he knows all about those other things that you're going to see. Nick Kowalczyk, maybe you can just tell me, how is it that you make each festival bigger and better than the one before it?
Well, we just plan it, and people come out. We've got 136 companies coming from around the world, and they're used to coming back and performing, so they love it.
A lot of fun and a lot of acts for you to see. There's going to be acts right here at Market Square for between 12 and midnight, basically. So there's a lot of stuff to see. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right. Well, tuning to some sad news. To millions of fans, he was known simply as Scotty. Canadian actor James Doohan, the original engineer on Star Trek, has passed away.
Left. Scotty, I can't change the laws of physics. I've got to have 30 minutes.
James Doohan died at his home in Washington State earlier today. His wife of 28 years was by his side. The Canadian actor's publicist says he died of pneumonia and Alzheimer's disease. He was probably best known as the burly chief engineer of the Starship Enterprise in the Star Trek TV series and movies. James Doohan was 85. Now, friends and family of Roblin's Amber Fleury are going to be crossing their fingers tonight. This is the night when they will find out if she has made it to the next round in Canadian Idol. So, should be a fantastic show, and I know we're all crossing our fingers for her. That's it from here at the Old Market Square. Let's send it back to the desk.
Tomorrow is garbage day number 1. Right now in Winnipeg, it is 21 degrees. Nice evening. We'll
try some pizza tonight at supper.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Let me play among the stars.
All right, there you are. Glad you're with us this morning. We're going right till 9 o'clock. And you know, the Fringe Festival just kicked off, and Michael Schuldemose is here. Did I get that one right?
You got that right.
Thank you very much. Michael, I was reading your press kit. Unbelievable accolades for your past shows and this show. Call Me Kirk. Tell us a bit about the show itself. What can people expect?
Well, it's a glorified original episode. I threw everything I could in, from Romulans and Klingons, of course, Tribbles, and of course the alien babe I fall in love with.
You always get the babe, Kirk.
I touched her tears.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now, what drew you? Let's go back a bit, because the Lord of the Rings show you did.
Oh no, that was John.
John, sorry about that. But your past shows are so elaborate, and the voices. Where do you find them?
Well, I just watched, like for this show, I just sat in front of my monitor for days on end, and of course I've been a fan ever since I was a kid.
That's got to be key,
I mean,
though,
Captain Kirk. I've been Captain Kirk since I was 6, I think.
Really? And does that play a big part in developing a show like this, to be passionate about your subject?
You must be. If you're not passionate, then it really never goes anywhere. And you don't bring all that love to it. And of course, you don't micro-scrutinize every moment. And make it.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Now, as far as the real Trekkies that come out, I mean, and they must.
Oh, I no doubt they will.
Yeah. I mean, how is it received? Not just the critics,
no,
but I mean
the Trekkies they're fine on that. I mean, I had to change a few things, star dates, this, that, and the other. I mean, you get a few, hard-ass guys. Hey, that was the wrong star date. So sorry. And her name wasn't exactly that. Well, I couldn't clash with the other name. Sorry. So when I put everything together, I had to, make a few allowances.
Well, there's a great Saturday Night Live when William Shatner was on, and did you happen to catch that when he was at a Star Trek convention and he just lost it?
Oh yeah, and whenever says to me, live long and prosper, I seriously mean it when I say, get a life.
No, the crew's laughing. There we go, super stuff. Now, how long is the show itself?
1 hour.
An hour long.
1 hour. Ooh, fast hour.
Is it difficult to stay in the character for that long a time?
Well, it's difficult. One-man shows are very difficult. Yeah. Well, you have to get in the zone,
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a bit. What are some of the challenges of doing a one-man show when it's just yourself out there?
Well, first is the writing. You have to make every moment sort of exciting and accessible. There's a lot of people that don't know Star Trek, so we have to take care of them, You bring your mom along, she's like, But if she gets this story, then that's great, She walks away with that. No, it's rehearse. It's rehearse.
Right.
Just keep rehearsing.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like when you're up there, do you ever, like, what's the term I'm looking for? Not so much stray from the original script, but the few different things, like, thrown in there. Do you ever feel like, does the audience take you places, I should say?
Well, the audience, no. I try to steer my own course or I'll get lost. No, I always feel I'm in an episode. Yeah,
perfect.
Because every moment is basically, episode worthy.
Now, you will be back right after this break, and we're going to get a chance to see some of this fantastic show. Is that okay?
Yep.
Michael, absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Don't go away. You are in for a real treat. We'll be in a minute.
Connecting with the ever-ready. Yeah. Never was talking about, still trying. I got it. Forever bitter. Gossiping about, never say done.
We just had a chance to chat with Michael a bit about the show, Call Me Kirk, Star Trek Adventure, part of the Fringe Festival. Right now, we're lucky enough to see a little bit of it, so sit back and enjoy.
Spock, gone has set the Reliance for self-destruct. Will be destroyed. We have to start the engines with a balanced implosion. Can you hear me? The virus is supposed to wear off. Snap out of it, you mutinous, computerized half-breed. You call yourself a man? You're not a man. You're a jackrabbit, an elephant with an overdeveloped thyroid. What can we expect from a simpering, devil-eared freak whose father was a computer, like his son, an ambassador from a planet of traitors? You're a traitor, from a race of traitors, disloyal to the core, rotten like the rest of your subhuman race, and you've got the gall to make love to Nurse Chapel. Does she know what she's getting, Spock? A carcass full of memory banks who should be squatting on a mushroom instead of passing himself off as a man. You belong in a circus, Spock, not a starship, right next to the dog-faced boy. How can you be deaf with ears like those? I've got it. The virus. The ship. I give, she takes. She won't let me live my own life. I have to live hers. I love. I love. Now I know why it's called she.
There we go. Excellent. Well done, Michael. Well done. Well done. When you do a show like this that is such a pop icon, I mean, it's almost borderline cult. I mean, did you try it out on anybody?
No, it is cult.
It is cult. Okay, you heard it from the man here. It is. It is. Do you try it out first on folks to get the
Well,
feedback
you know,
before?
my friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Parties. Hey, check this one out.
Dinner parties must be a hoot.
Yeah,
Now-
exactly.
Now, what is the venue? Where are you playing? And how's that all go time-wise?
Well, we're playing at PTE, venue 16. I'm on every night, different times, of course. Check your program. Show tonight at 8:45, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tickets right at the door?
At the door, yeah, or you can get advanced tickets, of course, for other days. not
Super.
tonight.
Well, the website's right there on the screen. And look forward to this show. An hour of it just must be amazing.
PKFproductions.com is another one you can go to. You can get information on myself.
And dig along and find out everything about it.
Everything about it.
All right. Well, listen, it's an absolute pleasure having you here on the show, sir. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
keeping Star Trek alive for all of us.
Beam me up, Scotty.
That's a tribute to James Noonan.
James Noonan.
Yeah, Scotty passed away yesterday. But cheer yourself up, catch the show. Thank you so much. We are going to check out John Evanson right now. Don't go away.
Here's another look at the Fringe Festival, a truly international experience. Stay with us. It really is Canada's biggest theater festival. The Winnipeg Fringe eclipsed ticket sales at the Edmonton Fringe for the first time last year. As Global's Connie Tomoto reports, theater companies from around the world flock here for one reason: the thriving theater scene.
Oh, it's murder just sitting on this plane.
Parked on a plane destined for Ireland, but forced to make an emergency landing in Gander, Newfoundland. That's the basis of a one-man show by New York native Michael Walsh. But the flight to Winnipeg was a much more pleasant experience.
Other than that trip, most flights I take have been fairly smooth. That one was kind of an exception.
Walsh is one of many international acts hitting the stage at the 18th annual Winnipeg Fringe Festival.
I did some of the fringes in the States, and I met a lot of people who've done the Canadian circuit, and they really recommended it. They said, the fringes are great, there's a lot of support. And being that my play takes place in Canada, I thought, you know, I would have an audience for it.
This year, 29 different theater companies from across the world will perform at Psychedelic Fringe. According to the festival's executive director, the international component is a huge asset to the Fringe.
The internationals have toured from festival to festival, and what they talk to us about what happens in one festival, what other festivals are doing, other companies are doing.
Highly excitable and prone to flights of fancy.
For Aussie performer Nicola Gunn, taking part in a fringe festival like Winnipeg's is an opportunity she would have missed back home.
We don't have anything like this at home. There is nothing like this.
She says the Winnipeg Fringe and the theater community here is what attracts her to our city.
You don't get the audience that you get here. You don't get the publicity at all that you get here. This is just unique.
And with Winnipeg now boasting the biggest fringe festival in North America, it's no wonder that acts from around the globe are clamoring to be part of one of our city's most popular summertime festivals. Connie Tomoto, Global News, Winnipeg.
Well, we're going next to the Cosmic Lounge. Barbara Brunzell is there laying back with some special guests.
When you wake up in bed.
CBC's Web Cafe is the coolest place to get your fringe groove on, man. You'll be able to read professional reviews of every play in the festival, find groovy picks of the day, submit your own review, and check out previews, man. Wow, man. Like, fringe on, baby.
Well, it's only day 2 of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, but things are already hopping down here at Old Market Square. The Kids Fringe is happening behind me, and people are walking around looking at posters and billboards, trying to decide what to go and see, because with 136 shows, it's a difficult thing to do. But my guest today at the Cosmic Lounge actually came here all the way from LA, not just to entertain, but to teach Winnipeggers a lesson in cool. I'd like you to meet Jerome Sable and Ellie Battalion, who are here with their show, Hip Hop for Dummies. So
How's
welcome.
it going? Thanks, Barb. Good to be back on the show.
Oh, well, thank you. Tell me what this new show is all about. People know you actually for Job, the trilogy. So tell me what this show's about.
Well, when we were doing the Job shows, we noticed that people were
did not have an adequate knowledge of hip-hop to be able to understand our shows. So we felt it was really important for us to go out on an educational mission and teach people about hip-hop, so that we could continue to tour the Job shows successfully.
It's basically just an intermediary step. We found out that no one understood the Job shows.
Right.
And,
so this was the logical step after that.
Not good after you do a trilogy. But here we have a little snippet of Hip Hop for Dummies. Take a look.
This is a catchy hook. It gets stuck in your head. It will return to you when you wake up in bed. This is a catchy hook. It gets stuck in your head. It will return to you when you wake up in bed.
Oh, we just finished the chorus, which is also called a hook.
That wasn't in the lecture, but you'll find it in my book.
Take a look and listen to the lyrics that we trade off.
About this hip-hop topic, and we hope this lesson's paid off. They will into the verse with 3 sentences more. I'm doing these lines solo with Santi in a guitar. He knows them and she lead, he fights. And she's a porter for sure. Remember, but something more to do.
So why did you decide to do this show, besides giving people the education that they so need?
Actually, the truth behind it is that we were approached by the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal, and they were interested in our Job show and our work, but they said that it didn't really fit the format of their festival, that they needed stuff that was more purely comedic and also was simpler for people to follow along. So we took this to heart and created this concept of Hip Hop for Dummies, where you see all the words up on the screen while we're rapping, and we break it down into small, easy nuggets, easy to digest little lessons.
Now, I need a lesson in cool. So tell me, if you're going to give one piece of advice to the public, if they want to join the Hip Hop Nation, tell me what it would be.
Well, I think hands down. That's it. Keep your hands down.
Keep your hands down.
No, hands down.
This is way too difficult.
the lesson would be to be for real. A lot of people are obsessed with keeping it real, and it's gotten so perverted to the point where keeping it real for some hip-hoppers actually means pretending to be more of a gangsta than you actually are, saying you're from the hood and saying you're going to kill people when you've never killed people in your life, you're not really from the hood. And so really the roots of hip-hop, it's all about being silly and clowning, really. And certain rappers still remember that, like Andre 3000 from Outkast. He keeps it real by still being silly. Like if you see any of the early breakdance videos, you know, it's all very silly, all very clownish. And so that's really the way that we approach hip-hop.
Thank you so much for joining me here at the Cosmic Lounge today.
Thank you.
Thanks. And now it's your turn to speak your piece and give us the reviews of this year's shows at the Psychedelic Fringe.
Like Fringe on, baby.
Last night I saw Three Brides for Castles, and I found it a very interesting play. It's a whole bunch of people have come from Flin-Flon, and they are an amateur theatrical and choir group. The play itself is 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It's a full-fledged musical.
Fine bit of work that is for a son of mine. No prospects, no dowry.
How can it be impossible without a dowry?
You, of all people, pretending a dowry isn't important. How do you ever hope to find a husband with the pittance our family can provide? So you married in a horseback way, like a hero, like a hero. Sweet sugar almonds for your wedding day, like a hero, like a man.
I would give Three Brides for Castles 3.5 lava lamps. It was fun.
Saw 2 shows last night. The first show that we saw was Bitch Slap, and by Guys in Disguise from Edmonton. Fantastic show. If you've seen any of their shows before, Power Driver, etc., you'd love it. In a nutshell, you've got Betty Davis and Joan Crawford and a gossip reporter going through their years together.
A movie star. I, however, am an actress. I trained on the stage where real acting takes place. She's just a creature of the camera.
I exist because of my fans. You created me. And that means that whenever I leave the house, I'm Joan Crawford. And that means glamour, handsome men, and keeping my name in the papers by doing whatever it takes.
I'd say 4 to 5 lava lamps.
Now it's time to give away another Fringe loot bag. So right here, I have Fringe t-shirts, some more passes to some shows. So I will take the first caller on our screen I will take caller number 1. So now that you've had a chance to have a lesson in cool from the guys who brought us Hip Hop for Dummies, you have a chance to try out those skills tonight here in Old Market Square. They're going to have the very first psychedelic hip-hop session, and you're going to have acts like DJ Honeycutt, DJ Co-op, as well as Team Res Official on the stage. So come on down, check it out, and here right now to give you a taste is Team Res Official.
So, it's your boy Helen back, man. RBZ's the team. We make other cats cringe. You can catch me and the boys getting live at the Fringe. Festival, psychedelic, I can't really call it. Me and my team will come through and fold you cash like a wallet. CBC, they ballin', and I got they back, cause they got mine, and it's your boy Helen back.
Welcome back to Late Night at the Fringe. I'm your host, Trevor Boris.
No, you haven't accidentally changed the channel. Comedian Trevor Boris has temporarily taken over your TV to promote his show, Late Night at the Fringe.
I've always wanted to do my own show, but not have to fill the whole hour.
We here at A Channel thought it was only fair to give Boris a little airtime. After all, he is spending his own time plugging other acts every night at 10, except for an 11 o'clock start on July 25th.
I'm pushing my show around for Avril Lavigne. Is that sad?
Boris is already a host of a gay wedding show on Out TV, and there's talk of doing a real late-night talk show. Plus, he just finished shooting 3 episodes of Video on Trial with our chum affiliate, Much Music.
So they get a couple comics and celebrities basically making fun of new videos. So it's got like the new Britney video and that, so it's almost too easy.
Sharing the spotlight at the Fringe also came easy. Late Night at the Fringe, now in its 2nd season, features live previews and in-depth interviews.
How do you keep it fresh every year?
Well,
Because I don't think that you do.
Giving you the inside scoop on the performers.
I got heckled during my little comedy set part, but I mean, it just gives them some perspective into where you're coming from and how long you've been doing it and the history of the show and the significance of it.
The beauty is, Fringers can sit back at his show and get a sneak peek at 3 other shows from this year's lineup. Adrian Silver, A Channel Wired.
How do you keep it fresh every year?
Well, yeah.
Because I don't think that you do.
Late Night at the Fringe with Trevor Boris, now in its 2nd season, features live previews and in-depth interviews, giving you the inside scoop on this year's performers. The show runs every night at 10 o'clock at the Winnipeg Press Club. Well, almost every night. Monday's show is starting an hour late because Boris needs to check out another big show first.
Heckled during my little comedy set part,
I pushed my show back an hour because I'm going to Avril Lavigne, the concert. So I've got a special guest from that. I can't say who. I don't know if Avril will be dropping by, but and we've got a few other special guests lined up.
Whether or not Avril herself shows up, Fringers can sit back at this show and get a sneak peek at 3 other performances from this year's lineup. And if you'd like to see a Fringe show on us, now is your chance.
I smoke cigarettes, and I drink coffee, and I wear red lipstick.
Tonight we're giving out 3 pairs of tickets to various Fringe performances. Plus, one lucky A Channel viewer will be picking up a Fringe prize pack, which includes 2 show passes, 2 t-shirts, festival program, and a festival poster. To enter tonight's draw, give us a call right now at 777-2-WIN or 1-866-NOW-YOU-WIN. And that's my list.
Friday night is typically my personal hygiene night.
We're giving out 3 pairs of tickets to various Fringe performances, plus one lucky A Channel viewer will be picking up a Fringe prize pack, which includes 2 show passes, 2 t-shirts, a festival program, and a festival poster. Now, to enter tonight's draw, give us a call at 777-2-WIN or 1-866-NOW-YOU-WIN. The Alberta...
Listen, I'm just a man with a message. How people receive that message is out of my hands.
I don't know if we can pull this off.
It's one part conspiracy.
Mind control, robotics, spacecraft propulsion.
Mixed in with music.
Pray for a preemption to take us off the air.
Spiced up with a little sex.
And he's probably lousy in bed. But I wouldn't mind testing that hypothesis.
And what have you got? The new Fringe show, Illuminati the Musical.
Now my head starts to throb. He's a jerk. He's a snob.
Rainbow Stage will have something on it if they can try and outdo us. Really, it's that good.
The writer of last year's Fringe Fest success, Bloodsuckers the Musical, is using fine-tuned comedy once again. this time to expose even more conspiracies, including the Priory of Sion and Illuminati, mysterious religious groups made famous by author Dan Brown.
I've got vital information of an ancient hybrid nation of aliens and man.
But any similarities to the bestseller are purely coincidental. Neither the writer or director of Illuminati the Musical have ever cracked open the Da Vinci Code.
It is like a very, very good timing, and I'm just lucky that I got this idea at the right time to sort of catch that wave.
You'll learn a lot, as I have throughout, and conspiracies and whatnot. But to just laugh at it as well and just go, oh, people, this, it's kind of silly, too.
And while in the end we might not learn if there really are UFOs or who built Stonehenge, Illuminati the Musical is still a great way to sing along to the world's most famous schemes.
The Nazis and the CIA collaborated on many scientific experiments.
Adrian Silver, 8 Channel Wired.
It's the Fringe Festival, it's Psychedelic Fringe, so let's go psycho with more from the Fringe 2005.
I'm looking for a groupie, no soulmate quite for me, a woman who looks better than I deserve to see, a lover in the throng of what I say and do. Oh, how I'd hypnotize her, bed and weather, air I'm through.
Hi. You're not from around here, are you? Who, me? Born and bred. I'm a Torontoian. A Torontarian. I'm from just down here. You can tell, huh? Only by the knives. I'm Clarice Dubois. I'm from everywhere. Oh, you're the lady with the collar. You heard of me. Oh, through my mother. She sure hates you. Oh. Is she a Christian or frigid? Or both? Oh, she's a Christian. A big one. In politics and all that. So, what did you say your last name was? Kirkenchuk? Oh. Is your mother Sharon Kirkenchuk?
Porn Star's a great story about this librarian from a little town, Elbow, Saskatchewan, who unwittingly finds herself in the porn industry and nominated for an award in the amateur category. And so she sets off to Toronto to go to this award ceremony. And along the way, we see her kid sister and her hilarious escape from hell where she's living at the moment. And we meet a sex expert columnist, Clarice, and even Jesus himself makes an appearance in the end. So there you go.
It's interesting, Shannon, it's a one-woman show, so how much energy and how is it different for you to be in this?
It's more or less, I find it the same. I mean, it is a one-woman show and you start to pace yourself, but once you get up to speed, then I find it's pretty regular. You start to act with yourself just the way you would as an actor, listening to yourself, and yeah, it is a lot of work. It's great, though. It's great fun. It's great fun.
Would you ever consider doing porn?
No, probably not.
Better to do a play about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is your mother Sharon Kirkenchuk? I don't know. Yes. So, what brings you to the big city? I was nominated for an award for performing the ceremony is tomorrow night in the big ballroom. The Toronto Video Award ceremony? No. Yes. Let's recap. I'm sitting here with Alliance MP Sharon Kirkenchuk's daughter, who's just been nominated for an award as a performer by Toronto Video. It's just an amateur award. I'm an amateur.
The Winnipeg Fringe runs until July 30th at various venues across the city. For Star TV in Winnipeg, I'm Tracy Koga.
Best opening weekend ever.
And organizers of Canada's largest theater festival, all smiles tonight.
counts, the numbers so far, well, they're pretty good for the Winnipeg Fringe. We'll tally them up for you right after the break. So far, so good for organizers of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival. They chose a psychedelic theme this year. You'll see a lot of tie-dye in Old Market Square these days. But it really is the largest theater festival in the country, and we're at the halfway point. Global's Connie Tomoto has been living life on the Fringe for the past few days now, and she says the crowds this year are bigger and better than ever.
Best opening weekend ever.
Whether it was the outdoor stage or the indoor venues, so far Psychedelic Fringe is boasting some groovy numbers for the first half of the festival.
We're looking at about 27,000 out at the stage and about over 26,000 indoor at this point.
Ticket sales are also up by 10%, and a number of shows are selling out within minutes.
The sellouts are going gangbusters as well, so we've gotten the people into the seats earlier, and that's the key, because it's going to get harder and harder to get into the shows.
Scissors, don't run when holding veggies, eat them or scolding you.
This year's Fringe lineup includes more than 130 different acts from right here in Winnipeg and across the globe. According to these frequent Fringers, it's hit or miss when it comes to what's hot and what's not.
We're going to take half of this with a grain of salt and the other half with some intuition, and we're going to pick a show that based on the time on the clock on the wall, which is really how we're going about it.
It's great because they're so hit or miss, you know. Some things are like really, but yeah, whatever. That's the fun about it, I guess.
We like Chekhov shorts and Miss Julie, and of course we like TJ Dawn, those types too. Like I don't know who doesn't.
Others say it's the atmosphere and entertainment here in Old Market Square that attracts them to the festival.
I think it's really fun. I think it's really good that everyone can come in public and do and not be shy and participate in stuff.
If you're planning to head out here to the Fringe to catch some of the psychedelic plays, don't wait too long. Festival organizers say long lineups and sellout shows will become more frequent as the festival nears its end. Connie Tomoto, Global News, Winnipeg.
Wow, man. Like, Fringe on, baby.
The Fringe Festival is often a testing ground for experimental and provocative theater, and my guests today have all the bases covered with their show Beautifuler, a show about Botox, boob jobs, and BLs above. And with me now is Moira Platt from the UK and Melanie Windle. Welcome. So I have to start out, I have to ask before we even get started, what happened to you?
Well, my first month of being here in Canada, in Toronto, I bought myself a bike. And I was cycling along happily ever after, got caught in the streetcar tracks and did a Superman leap over and landed on my hand.
Oh, good.
I broke both of them.
Well, welcome to Canada. Melanie, tell me, what is your show about?
Well, it's a naughty little dark comedy about plastic surgery and the devil, inspired by a picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde.
Well, we actually happen to have a snippet for people to see, so take a look.
What to do now? We don't know. Let's go. We can't. Why not? We're waiting for the surgeon.
Dr. Plastic, I'm here. I love my new eyes, but I want a new color. I was thinking fuchsia or pusa.
Oh, she's changed.
Ooh.
That one. That's the idea. Let's make a little conversation. And she, what? Changed. Very likely they all change. Likely it's certain. Didn't you see her? Suppose I did. But I don't know her. Yeah, you do know her. No, I don't know her. We know her, I tell you.
Moira, now, your production company is based in the UK and you're based in Toronto, but I heard that the big body of water in between the two of you didn't cause any problems. So how was this play put together?
Well, thanks to internet, Beautifuler was born through email. So random beings would write a bunch of scenes, email it over to Randa, a red-handed film and theatre. They'd break it apart, put it back together again, and email it back over. And then we had a few conference calls, which tended to be about an hour, hour and a half. And
wow.
So, yeah, girls chatting.
What would be the challenges of doing that way?
Finding a unified voice and the time differences between Toronto and London.
She called me at 3 in the morning one day.
Good ideas. Now, today, you know, people can win plastic surgery in a bar. They can see it on reality TV. So what do you think about the modern day quest for beauty? Are we going too far?
I think the quest for beauty is definitely going too far. In terms of plastic surgery, there's nothing wrong. We don't have anything against plastic surgery as such. It's done great things. Reconstructive surgery is fantastic. It's done amazing things. I think the problem is that because of that rising standard, people are becoming compulsive because they feel they need to keep up with things. And plastic surgery does have that problem that it lends to a certain trapping, that if you go further and further down that road, it can lead to a very dangerous sort of result.
So what would you say, Melanie, the main message of the show would be then? A leopard can't change his spots, even if he sells his soul. And what kind of, that's a little scary. What kind of response have you been getting?
Well, Winnipeg audiences are fantastic, and it's a lot of very strange humor and very fun, and a lot of things that I think are quite thought-provoking. And, you know, audiences have been great here. They've really responded fantastically well. So.
And have you had any audience members actually think that you've gone out and had plastic surgery? I know it's on your arm.
I always tell them that it was specially done for the show.
Especially done for the show. So what's next? You know, you started this journey in two different places, but now you're on the road with the show. What's next for you guys?
Well, the grand plan is Edinburgh next year.
Yeah.
We want to do the Toronto Festival and Montreal next year, and then go on to do Edinburgh. And then who knows?
Yes.
Later on, more festivals.
Yeah, maybe across Europe.
Brighton.
Yes. A beach. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much for joining me here today in the Cosmic Lounge, and I hope you get better. Thank you. And if you want to check out Beautifuler, just go to our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba, where you can catch all the reviews and the show times. And now it's time for you to speak your piece. Here are our Fringe Reviews.
Like Fringe on, baby.
One play that I saw is Bipolar Buddha, and it's a stand-up comedy routine by a comedian named Big Daddy Taz. And this is a routine by somebody who has bipolar disease, and he incorporates that into his routine. I think he has a message that he uses humor and comedy as part of his remedy. And he also talks about a whole bunch of other things, too.
The good Lord made me three things. Number one, suicidal. Number two, suicidal. Number two, a procrastinator. And number three, attention deficit disorder. So if you think about it, it's a great combination to have. My life sucks and I'm going to hang myself and I'm going to do it right now, but I don't have any roast, so I guess I'll get that tomorrow or the next day. Hey, look, the Flintstones are on.
I'll give Bipolar Buddha 5 lava lamps.
Confessions of a Class Clown and The King's Head was really fun. The characters were well depicted. It was a one-man show, but you just knew you were sitting in a classroom. As he said, he was a laughter junkie. And having done some of that myself, I could really relate to it. And we could all relate to the different characters that he either ridiculed or identified with.
Why not teach us something we might actually use in life? Of course, these are grown-up thoughts. What I was thinking at the time was, boring. So many great things have happened to me this summer. I've been to Disneyland. I learned how to get up on one water ski. I petted a killer whale. I Mr. Gladstone, I'm tired of having to tell you to sit down. Do you think this job is easy?
I would give Confessions of a Class Clown 4.5, 5 lava lamps.
Well, if you don't catch our cameras down in Old Market Square, you'll have a chance to speak your piece online. You can just go to the Glass Onion Cafe here at Fringe Central and type in what you think of the shows. But I'm not going to make you work that hard in order to win the next Fringe prize pack. So, if you're the 15th caller, call the number on our screen. You're going to get some groovy goods from the Psychedelic Fringe, including some tickets and a retro t-shirt from CBC. So just call the number on the screen below. And make sure to check in tomorrow, because we'll be talking to two actors who are brothers, and let me tell you, the sibling rivalry is fierce. Back to you, Marissa.
Thanks, Barb. CBC Arts reporter Barbara Brunzell live.
What did you do?
What kind of a question is that? I was here. You know exactly what I did today.
Okay, sorry. I was just trying to make conversation.
My name is Dr. Scott Bates. I'm Dave Ward, and we are doing Inside Out.
And because you are trustworthy, I'll believe it was excessively good.
Have you been looking in the dictionary again?
The play's about two brothers who've been living in an apartment for 13 years with no contact with the outside world. And today is their final day together. It's about cycles and the breaking of those cycles when they get dangerous, and habits, and holding on to dreams, and finding beauty in the little things in life.
You, Wiener.
I think it's different from a lot of the shows that Yeah, it's sort of like a mix of vaudeville and clown, and it's sort of a tragic comedy. It's a good story.
I think you've had enough of me to last a life.
Wow, man. Like Fringe on, baby.
Well, we're here at the Fringe Festival and things are buzzing, but the one place that's sure to be hopping this weekend is the Kids Fringe. More than 20,000 children took in the Kids Fringe last year, and with me right now is one of the performers, Mary Jane. Welcome to the Cosmic Lounge.
Why, thank you, Barbara. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Now, you were voted Best Show at the Kids Fringe 2 years running, so what's so attractive about your show?
Well, I would have to say it's the cosmic characters that we have here. We're really far out and groovy, and I would really encourage everyone to come down and check it out.
And what is it that people say about you? What's the buzz?
Well, mostly they say I'm a fine piece of ash.
But I hear that someone else is pulling the strings.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, although there is that woman who always follows me around.
Do you mind getting her for me, please?
Oh, not at all. I'll introduce you to you.
It was lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And the real woman behind it all, Estee Polno, thanks for joining me here. So you've been doing this for 15 years now. So what is it that attracted you to it?
I guess because I started street performing, and it was something about the element of live theater, but the focus wasn't on me, it was on the marionettes. And the improv and the fact that I can move in right with the kids and do different things. I think it's probably that.
Now, what does it take to master a technique such as this? These things are not light.
They're quite heavy. They're hand sculpted. They're all made out of wood. I did do some studying with my maestro, who's a Czechoslovakian. I would say these are Czechoslovakian-style marionettes. But it's about subtleties, so it's a lot of practice.
Now, this weekend, what are people going to see when they come down here on Saturday and Sunday at the Kids Fringe?
Oh, we'd like to put on a concert this year. It's the first year that Jazz on a String, we're not doing any jazz. It's a Woodstock experience. So it's going to be a little bit of concert, live music. So bring a blanket, sit on the grass, join us in the sing-along. Very laid back.
Thank you so much for joining me here in the Cosmic Lounge today. It was great to talk to you. And now it's time to take a look at our Fringe Reviews and Speak Your Piece.
Like Fringe on, baby.
I saw Glory Days yesterday, and I loved it. It's a one-man show about a boxer's life. It brought me to laughter. It brought me to tears.
The bell rang and Jimmy charged me. I panicked. I did the first thing that came to me. I held up my fist like this, and boom, he runs into it with his nose leading the charge. Blood everywhere, crying at the top of his lungs. His coach throws the towel into the ring, and the referee stops the fight. 6 seconds into the first round, holds up my hand and declares me the winner.
I would give Glory Days 5 lava lamps.
I saw Illuminati. It was one of the best plays I've seen so far, and I've seen about 6. It's a musical, very well produced, very well done, very well choreographed, excellent singing and dancing, and it encompasses every conspiracy theory you ever thought of, and it's a comedy.
Right. The inhabitants of Atlantis, as technologically advanced as they were, posed a threat to them. A war broke out and the Atlanteans were literally driven underground.
I get it. He's crazy.
She's brainless.
This isn't as painless as the guy who booked this interview had said. Now my head starts to throb. He's a jerk.
She's a snob.
I would definitely give Illuminati a 5 lava lamp rating.
And if you still can't decide what to go and see at this year's Fringe, check into our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba, and all the shows will be reviewed by the end of this weekend, so all the info will be there for you. But now it is time to give away another prize pack, and I have all sorts of fringing goodies, including a retro t-shirt and a Manitoba Theatre Center hat. So if you are the 9th caller, call the number on the screen below, the 9th caller. I will give you a call and you'll win this lovely prize pack. But before I go, I really have a special surprise for you today. The best kept secret at this year's Fringe, not only the one, the only, live from LA, Las Vegas, here is Tom Jones.
Thanks, Barbara.
It's not unusual to have fun with anyone, but when I see you hanging about with anyone.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. That's right. I'm at the Winnipeg Contemporary Dancers studio ready to head into a frenzy of media shoots for the Fringe when I was stopped in the hallway by Rhea Kavanaugh, live and local. You're here to plug your play, Rhea, and what is it called?
My play is called Grow Up, and it is at Rag Pickers, Venue 13 in the Annex. It's a BYOV, and I play at 7 o'clock every night.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about the story.
Well, the story is about one woman's struggle to negotiate her own treatment, and she's chosen a particular treatment which is not legal and not easily made legal even for those who would normally be given permission.
Well, one thing you can't do on TV is to translate smell. This does not have smell, but are you going to do something to make it a little bit more interesting?
Yeah, we're planning on actually having hemp oil burned on a light bulb while we're doing the show, so the whole place should smell like cannabis.
Well, it sounds awesome. Have a great run at the Fringe. We're going to head upstairs. We're going to show you more on what you can expect at this year's Fringe Festival, but first let's take a look at Rhea and Grow Up.
Charged solids that float in the air. This dust. These little bits are missing an electron, so they drift back and forth drawn by other electrical charges. Like Peter, our mailman. I have ordered an ionizer. It will emit extra electrons, which will give the air particles a negative charge. When this negative air comes in contact with the dust particles, it will cause them to precipitate. Very soon, it will be raining skunk in here.
Congratulations!
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 What?
Congratulations!
What?
Congratulations!
You found
a protein powder
designed specifically
for a woman like you.
Oh.
Congratulations!
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 Oh.
You found
A protein powder.
a
Protein powder.
designed specifically
For a woman like you.
like me.
Designed specifically.
For a woman like you.
Hi. Are you having problems with Fringe Show's low audience morale? Am I looking to boost my laughs with impressive developmental techniques? Is the BlackBerry your best friend? Do I organize all my personal relationships via group email? Have you replaced your teddy bear with your cell phone? Hello? Well, hold your spot in the queue, friends, because we have the memo for you. Memo! Stimulate, embrace, Xena! Come join us, workers of the world. It's a team-building workshop. What fun!
Well, one time when I was 5 years old, I remember we were in the station wagon heading to my grandparents' house, and I asked my dad, "Are Grandma and Grandpa going to hell?" And he said, "I don't know, Ryan," in a way that made me think he probably did know, but didn't really want to face the fact that his parents were going to burn for all eternity. Now, what great evils had my grandparents, Herb and Marge Paulson, committed? What vicious crimes against humanity had they taken part in that they were headed to hell and had no chance of redemption? Well, they were Lutheran. That's right, we were Pentecostal. And we knew that while all of the church-going and hymn-singing they did in the Lutheran church, I mean, it was good, but it just wasn't enough. But just in case any of us Pentecostals were likely to forget this, we had a little song we sang in church that helped us remember. And it went like this. Oh, you can't get to heaven in the Lutheran church. Oh, you can't get to heaven in the Lutheran church. Oh, you can't get to heaven in the Lutheran church. Your soul must have its own rebirth. All my sins are washed away. I've been redeemed. But let me tell you, the Lutherans will have some company in hell. Because you can't get to heaven in a Catholic mass, it's impossible. Oh, you can't get to heaven in a Catholic mass. Oh, you can't get to heaven in a Catholic mass, because God don't like all that thing glass. All my sins are washed away, I've been redeemed. But here's the answer, folks. Because you can get to heaven through the Pentecost, amen. Oh, you can get to heaven through the Pentecost. Oh, you can get to heaven through the Pentecost. With the Holy Ghost, you won't get lost. The show is about, I grew up in Wisconsin, America's Dairyland. I grew up in this Pentecostal church, and Pentecostalism is this, it's this form of, well, the denomination of Christianity, but it's very fundamentalist, and it would be associated, at least in the United States, with religious right. And one of the main tenets of the belief is speaking in tongues. You know, so the idea that the Holy Spirit, you know, comes over you, and then you end up speaking in tongues. So that's a big part of the church. And there was always this strange sort of dynamic between being Pentecostal and being Scandinavian, because most of the people in my town were Scandinavians, where we don't really believe in expressing ourselves with these shows of religious ecstasy. So there was always a strange sort of dynamic, like, you know, yeah, we believe in speaking in tongues, but let's just not ever do it. And then we also, you know, it's like we're more Scandinavian or more Pentecostal, and it's sort of a strange way to grow up. And another part of the story is a lot about talking to Jesus, because that was a big focus of Sunday school. You know, you can talk to Jesus about what toothpaste to buy and how to get your hair cut and what to wear. And so when I was little, I asked Jesus all these questions, like, what crayon do I use? You know, what flavored Jell-O should I eat today? And he didn't really answer back. And I struggled with this my whole life until I got a little bit older, and then the questions became bigger, and I still wasn't hearing from Jesus. So it's about that, it's about struggling with growing up in this fundamentalist form of Christianity. It's a little bit like in the vein of Garrison Keillor, who's a Minnesota native, and it's a warm comedy about, I guess, trying to find God and falling in love with a Swedish teenager named April.
Oh my, only here at the Fringe. And it's interesting,
Yes.
Ryan, bringing it here to Canada. First time here.
Yeah.
Kind of excited. What do you kind of think the crowds are going to react to this?
Right. Well, I really have no idea, and that's why I'm excited. I've done it in New York, and I did it once in Maine, and Maine is the only place I've been with the show outside of New York. So I'm really excited to get to another, another country, and also just another, part of another part. I'm gonna do Minneapolis after this, and that's another, part of the country. So I'm just really excited about that, and I don't really know what the reaction will be, but I'm really excited to find out.
And you're from New York, in Manhattan. Coming here, like, what is the climate like in theater in New York?
What's the climate like? Well, I mean, what's hard about it is there's just so much to compete with in terms of there's so much to do that it's really hard. I'd be happy to get, 50 people or 70 would be awesome to see a show in New York, and because you're competing with bars and clubs and off-Broadway, Broadway. So I think that's what makes it really hard. But at the same time, it's really exciting to know that but it's so exciting that there's this happening. And I have to put in a plug for the Winnipeg Fringe and just the Canadian Fringes in general, because the New York Fringe, I don't think is really all that great. It's juried, and I don't think the work is necessarily better because of it, and I don't think it's quite as accepting and open as a lot of these ones in Canada. So I have props to Canada for having all these great festivals.
Well, we're happy to have you,
Thank
Ryan.
you.
Yes, and what a way to end this. So this is our little taste of what to expect at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival 2005. Come and see Ryan. You're going to be at one venue?
I'm going to be at the Red River College on Princess. It's 160 Princess Street.
There you go, if you want to see Ryan in action. For Shaw TV, I'm Tracy Koga.
Hey, did you know that...
It's my first time doing a play in a shopping mall, but I'm very excited about it.
This is a catchy hook. It gets stuck in your head.
As they say, there's a first time for everything, and this duo from Los Angeles has come to the Winnipeg Fringe Festival to teach a very important life lesson, the fine art of hip-hop.
You may have kids, you may be hearing your kids use strange vocabulary, and you may wonder, how is this, and what does it mean? And if you're wondering what's the meaning of all this, you should come to Hip Hop for Dummies, and we explain everything you need to be successful with your hip-hop vocab.
Spock, we're in trouble.
Fringe Fest goers also have a chance to learn about another of life's queries. What exactly inspires Trekkies to do tributes?
I've always hated the way everyone else has done Captain Kirk. So, I thought I better make a show and do it myself. Do it right.
They often attack and kill at nighttime.
If you're dying to know, Quebec's Keir Cutler is teaching witchcraft at this year's Fringe.
Strangely, it's hilarious and chilling at the same time because the beliefs are so ridiculous and yet they're true.
You're falling and falling and falling and falling and falling, and shoop, you land in your own body and you wake up.
And of course, there's the age-old question we all ask ourselves.
If you're sitting in a cafeteria, do you ever stop and think about how many tens of thousands of human mouths your fork has been inside?
One thing's for sure, all of the performers in these 4 different shows are bending over backwards to give you a good time. Just ask the self-proclaimed Abbott and Costello meets Outcast.
It's kind of like a comedy cabaret show where you get music and laughter all rolled up in one delicious nugget.
Yo, what's up? Mad contractions happening. Join the club. What's the physical assassin? This is the freaking...
You can find all of these shows.
Shut them out!
And another look at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival from a kid's point of view. It's all about the kids right after the break. Stay with us. We have been giving you previews of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival all week. It's the biggest theater festival in North America. And this year, a new wave of fringers, teenagers, not only performing, but studying the theater as well. As Connie Tomoto reports, this year there really is something for everyone.
It's not heaven, and it's not earth.
At 15, Bridget DePath is already what some might consider a veteran performer.
I've been acting for probably about 6 or 7 years, and this is the first time ever I've written a show.
The show is titled In Between, a drama about a 14-year-old girl who dies suddenly and finds herself living somewhere in the afterlife. DePath says performing at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival as a young actor is an excellent learning experience.
I get to meet a lot of really experienced people, and they are teaching me a lot of things, and just going to see the other shows, I learn a lot from them, so it's really good. It's a really good experience.
And while the Fringe is typically known as a festival for edgy and progressive plays, this year's lineup also includes several shows for a younger audience, including dramas, clowns, and puppet shows.
Build a wall! Shut them out!
This year, 21 students from the Manitoba Theatre for Young People are taking in the Fringe.
We wanted them to get out there and see what other people were doing. This is a chance for them to see their other alumni of our program who've been through the program and come to the Fringe, and some of their teachers are in plays.
The aspiring actors come to pick up some of the tricks of the trade and to learn the art of reviewing.
You really have to look closely at theater, and you have to know a lot about it. You have to really pay close attention to every important detail, like the lighting and the cues and the props and all that little stuff.
The student reviews will be up on the MTYP website on Monday. Connie Tomoto, Global News, Winnipeg.
Wow, man. Like Fringe on, baby.
2 brothers, 2 plays, 1 Fringe circuit.
That's a situation the Gladstone brothers found themselves in this summer. They're from different cities. They have two entirely different plays, but they're both here at the Winnipeg Fringe Festival, ready to entertain, and they happen to be here in the Cosmic Lounge. Meet Ryan and Jeff Gladstone. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
So, first things first, most important piece of information, who's the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the older one. I'm more mature. But
oh, fair enough.
Shut
fair
up.
enough.
Shut up. Don't even.
No fist fights on the couch
Okay.
now, boys.
All right.
So to start out with, tell me, what is your show? I think I can guess. Confessions of a Class Clown is the name of your show, but what is it all about?
It's Confessions of a Class Clown. No, it's basically it's a collection of true stories from my sordid and hilarious past in the education system. There's one review I got in Toronto that called it, it gives the public education system a much-needed wedgie. I think that kind of describes it.
Well, you know what? We have a snippet of you in action, so let's take a look.
They say the attention span of children is 15 minutes. But 15 minutes is the attention span of bored children. And the stuff they teach is boring. Why not teach us something we might actually use in life? Of course, these are grown-up thoughts. What I was thinking at the time was, boring!
Well, last but not least, Jeff, you've come to town with a show about a person who's very near and dear to Winnipeggers' hearts.
Yeah.
And we caught you promoting the show earlier this week. Yes, in Old Market Square. So let's take a look.
Hi, my show is a one-man show about Lenny Bro, the amazing guitar player that spent most of his time in Winnipeg. There's 7 characters in this play. I play them all, and there's also 3 guitars. I play all the guitars, too.
So Jeff, Lenny Bro, that's quite a daunting character. What made you decide to do a show about this guitar genius?
Well, one is that the guitar genius. I think Lenny Bro is, if not one of, probably the greatest guitar players ever. And I find the story of his life a very inspiring one of a dedicated artist. And as a Canadian playwright and actor, I feel like it's my responsibility to share these stories with as many people as I can.
Well, let's get into your history. The two of you, when did you start acting? Like, is this in your blood or something?
Well, I think definitely our dad's an accountant, so we obviously got it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing shows together for a long time.
A long time.
One of the first ones was we had these 2 pet iguanas, and we I can't even remember how we got into it, but we started doing like a traveling reptile show where we were like in grade 5 or something, and we would bring these iguanas, and we had a little presentation about them. We
Recipe cards, right?
Recipe cards, yeah. We would. Do you still remember your lines?
Iguanas eat bananas and romaine lettuce. That's all I remember.
Well, it sounds fabulous, but maybe we'll move on.
It'll be next year's show.
Next year's Fringe. Yeah, watch for it.
Now, right now, you're separated. You're in Toronto. You're in Vancouver. How do you find traveling the circuit together, Jeff?
As estranged brothers? Well, you know what? It's great. And we've toured the Fringe Festival together before, so I can't imagine doing the Fringe without Ryan here.
So what are the chances that people are actually going to see you on the circuit in the future together?
On the circuit?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we are doing some projects, though, together. I'm on my way out to Vancouver to be with my brother, Jeff, because he's so lonely. Also, we're making a new history project, because Monster Theatre has been doing the history plays for a few years, and this one is going to be the history of the future. Future.
And I thought Lenny Bro was daunting. The history of the future sounds way more difficult.
Yeah. That's why we need 2 of us for that one.
And so if you had one piece of advice for people that decide to go on the Fringe circuit together, whether they be husband and wife, whether they be siblings, what would it be?
Oh, take a little bit of time to yourself and always have time to play hacky sack together.
Fair enough, and I'll leave it on that. Thank you both for joining me in the lounge today.
Thanks for having us.
And now it's time for you to speak your piece. Here are our Fringe Reviews.
Like Fringe on, baby.
The play that I saw yesterday is called Smoked Glass Ceiling, and it's written and performed by Rita Deverell. It is her life story, and it is mesmerizing. There wasn't a sound for the entire hour that it played.
Bees have the largest number of predators of any creature in the natural world. They have something that's valuable, a hive flowing with honey. For another thing, There are two ways for a queen bee to stay productive. One is to stay in the hive, lay like crazy, and kill all the wannabes. That's not possible when you hit the smoked glass ceiling.
I would give smoked glass ceiling a rating of 5 lava lamps.
Designed specifically for a woman like you, and it is a 4-woman play, and it didn't really work for me. It was about a woman encountering, you know, a great product in a grocery store, and I just found that the dialogue was too fast, and I got the point in about 10 minutes, although I did find the main actress very energetic.
Congratulations!
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 What?
Congratulations!
You found
Protein powder. Designed specifically
for a woman like you.
I would rate the play designed specifically for women on 2 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5 lava lamps.
So to check out what other shows are groovy or grim at this year's Fringe, just go to our website at cbc.ca/Manitoba. And so that you can fringe in style, I have another prize pack to give away. I'll take caller number 21, just call the number on our screen, and I have a pair of tickets as well as a psychedelic Fringe t-shirt. Well, we've let you in on a few family Fringe secrets today, but be sure to tune in tomorrow when we'll tell you some of the real-life stories behind shows here at the Fringe. Now back to you, Marissa.
Thanks, Barb. Arts reporter Barbara Brunzel.
And he reached way up and got some blue from the sky and mixed that in.
Every year we've come for a little bit to see different plays or different performances on the free stage, and kids like to see the different market as well, see what kind of products they have.
And what have you liked so far about the Fringe? Getting a henna tattoo. Now it's very wet, so 15 to 20 minutes to dry. I'm the director of Fantastic Parties Social and Planning, and we really love to give back to the community in many ways as we can, so we donate all of our time and services here. It's the pressure, eh? Why do you think it's just a great way for parents to get the kids out of the house for a day?
You know what? It's free. That's the best reason. And you know what? The Fringe is 18. And the people who started, they've been aging with it. They've got their own kids. Some kids have learned to walk. They've grown up on the Fringe. And the Fringe is becoming more family-friendly all the time. It'll never lose that edge. It must have that edge. But it's got a family-friendly edge now.
It's described as being a hot dish of sweet sketch comedy. The Fringe act Tuna Surprise comes all the way from Calgary and runs until Saturday at venue number 3. Here's a sneak peek at it.
Computers are back up.
Awesome.
Hi, we're Tiny Tuna Theater. And our show is Tuna Surprise.
Yeah, Maxwell just bought me a plane ticket to New York.
Awesome.
That reminds me, I just bought my boyfriend a pack of smoke.
We're genre-straddling vixens, really. And we'll do anything from Christian rap to
a scene about a little girl possessed by Tony Danza.
to stuff my mom shouldn't see.
Yeah, Maxwell bought me one of those BlackBerry beeper thingies. He's an engineer.
Awesome. My boyfriend just told me where he lives.
You'll go away feeling you had a great time. We have ourselves to give, and we just want to give that to you, and it's a sharing experience.
Also, we give away a sock monkey on the show.
Awesome. He worships you.
I know.
Speaking of worship, my boyfriend worships the almighty Dark Lord Lucifer, ruler of the fifth element.
While taking a stroll through Little Italy, you can't help but notice the constant movement of people and all the hustle and bustle. But that comes to a stop outside of Gigi Gelati's, as a crowd will invariably gather to watch as art imitates art, imitating life. Renan Grinstein explains how he and wife Liliana are able to attract and amaze audiences.
We always try to lean towards beauty, right, in the poses that we choose. We could be doing like violent or aggressive poses, but we choose always beauty, so that's the first thing that I think attracts people. And then the fact that, okay, they see statues, but then realize that we're actually human beings doing it. And you know, even people that already saw this kind of art form in different parts of the world, they still get fascinated and they get surprised every time.
Renan and Ileana have studied yoga and use their theatrical training to help prepare them for their 2-hour performances that take a toll on their bodies.
Like, I truly tell you, like, I discovered muscles that I didn't know I had. This tiny little muscle in the tip of my toe that helps me stay balanced.
That's great.
It happens, yeah.
I'm drawn to them. It's just intriguing. The different, I don't know, the different poses and the different moods and the fact that people are drawn to them. I find it intriguing.
I think it's amazing. It's crazy just to stand there. And that's like just standing there. I couldn't do it. No.
So unique. They look like statues. Unreal. They? She likes giving the little kids money so they could put it in.
Oh, you do that for everybody. Yeah, I thought you'd give me
Well, if you get down, I'll give you some money.
She's emptied out my pockets already. Give me some more money to give this little kid.
Worried at first at how Winnipeggers would respond, Ileana decided to join her husband and Renan on the avenue.
Well, initially the attraction was something to laugh at because I didn't believe he was actually going to go anywhere with this. I did grow up with theater and art and whatnot, so it's not that I was close to it. I wasn't too confident about how Winnipeggers would react. I think it was just a matter of weeks, and then the Fringe Festival began, and I thought, you know what, it's just perfect timing. If I'm going to try this, I'll try it at the Fringe Festival. We'll see how it goes.
Audiences can be tough, and Ileana knows which segment is the toughest sell.
Definitely, children are by far the most, just the rawest form of audience that we could get, so they are the most important people that we need to impress, for sure. When they keep coming back, when they drag their parents to see us, that's fuel, right? That's a major encouragement.
I really enjoy communicating beauty to people and doing art has always been part of my life. Okay, in one way or the other, I've always been had a link with art, and this helped us, you know, get some recognition in one way or the other, and we just very enjoy it, and the people love it, so that also feeds us with a lot of positive things. Okay.
You can experience the living statues for yourself weekend evenings outside G.G. Gelati's on Cordon Avenue. For Shaw TV, I'm Jeremy Valens.
At the Fringe Fest, we'll take you there after the break. So where do you start? Global's Connie Tomoto joins us live from the Exchange District. And Connie, there's a lot of plays to choose from this year.
And that means Fringe companies have to work extra hard just to get their names out, Nellie. As you can see, there are a lot of posters throughout the Exchange, and some companies are taking their marketing strategies even further, hoping to get more people out to see their shows.
From large sandwich boards advertising mind-blowing performances to fluorescent handbills professing the best plays, how companies market their Fringe shows has more to do with attendance than one might think.
It can be pretty tough.
Yeah, but as long as you're visual and it's something that people can latch onto, they can attach, like ours is Oversexed Teenage Zombies in a Small Town, which is a very animated title.
With 136 different theater companies from across the world gathering in our city to take part in the 18th Annual Fringe Festival, it could be tough to break through all this clutter and set yourself apart from the pack.
We need colored posters, bright colored posters. We have interesting handbills, but to go along with that, you have to be a little bit vocal and a little bit active.
That's why some Fringe groups have come up with some catchy products to promote their shows.
There you go.
Fat Tuesdays, a show about Mardi Gras, is using the festival's signature beads to promote the show.
It's not just enough to give a person a plain piece of paper on black and white photocopy.
According to the show's producer, who has won 3 coveted Best in Fest titles, breaking through the clutter this year is extremely hard, especially since most companies are using the same tactics to get attention.
When you give a person a handbill, what happens is they look at the handbill, sometimes they throw it away, sometimes they stick it in their pocket. But if they have these, they're walking around, they're a walking poster, and it's just great advertising.
Well, joining me now is Festival Executive Director Nick Kowalczyk. Nick, thank you for joining us this evening.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
136 different companies, all with handbills and posters. That's a lot for people to go through, but I understand you guys have narrowed it down a little bit with your Best of Fest list. What is the Best of Fest?
Well, the Best of Fest is Saturday. At the first slot of the day is the 11 regular venues have an opportunity for the best show in that venue to put on an extra show.
So these people have accumulated the most number of tickets. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that's right. They've had the best the average best shows during the festival, and so it's a bit of a fundraiser for us, and it's a bit of an opportunity for people to come out at the first slot of the day and see something that's hot.
How has the festival gone for you guys so far this year?
Oh, it's been wonderful. The weather's been with us. The people have been coming out, and numbers seem to be up. It's great.
And just a few more days left to come out and see the Fringe. What do you recommend for people who haven't been here yet?
Come on out and go to the info tent. In any lineup, you'll be hearing anything that's going on, and just check out to see what's next, and you let them know if you want to see a comedy, a drama, a dance, whatever. There's something for everybody.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun here at the festival. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and good luck with the rest of the festival.
Thank you very much.
Well, if you want to check out what are the best in Fest, you can go to our website at globalwinnipeg.com.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Connie. Global's Connie Tomoto reporting live tonight.
See on stage. He's both performer and priest. You'll meet him next at the Psychedelic Fringe.
I was not even in Berlin. I was not at that time allowed to be in Berlin.
Welcome back. Peace, love, happiness, and a whole lot of theater. That's what you'll find at the Psychedelic Fringe. But to some of the actors performing in this year's festival, it's more than just a theme. It's a lifestyle. Arts reporter Barbara Brunzell has more live from the Cosmic Lounge.
Wow, man. Like, Fringe on, baby.
It's a beautiful day here in Old Market Square, and I'm hanging out in the Cosmic Lounge with Peter Crameck. He's an actor from South Africa whose play Bonhoeffer is about a man who made the ultimate sacrifice. Thanks for joining me here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
So who is Dietrich Bonhoeffer?
He's a German theologian, and he surprised his family by becoming one. His family weren't particularly religious or even particularly political, and I think people were kind of surprised when he suddenly said this is what he was going to do. And so off he went, and he became a pastor, and almost immediately got himself into hot water with the established church by criticizing the way they were practicing their brand of Christianity, and then got into further hot water when the official church started to support the Gestapo and the Third Reich and all of that sort of thing, because he obviously grew up in the period known as the Weimar Republic, and so his opposition to firstly the church and then the Gestapo and then the church and the Gestapo kind of set the scene for the rest of his life.
Well, tell me why you decided to write this play.
It struck for me a number of personal parallels. You know, I talk about his opposition to Nazism, my opposition to apartheid throughout all my life is a case in point of parallel. And he made the choice, the decision that he was going to stay in Germany to do the little he could. I had the option of going into some kind of self-imposed exile and leaving South Africa to sort itself out, and I had to make a decision and decided to stay in South Africa to do the little I could. And, you know, the little I did was perhaps to use drama as a tool for reconciliation and bring people who had been previously divided by the success of apartheid, the appalling success, and bring them together to a common experience.
And you also have the church in common as well.
Well, we do, yes, and I've also been fairly critical of that, I have to be honest.
Although you are a lay minister.
I am, yes. You know, I think I describe myself as being entitled to climb into the pulpit 6 feet above criticism.
Well, you know what? We actually have a clip from Bonhoeffer, so take a look.
I was not there that night, the night of glass, the Kristallnacht, the 9th of November. I was not even in Berlin. I was not at that time allowed to be in Berlin. But 2 months earlier, exactly 2 months, I had hoped Sabina and Gerhard escape into Switzerland, and afterwards I followed them to England. Thank God.
Well, where do you draw the lines, the parallels between Nazi Germany and South Africa? Where do they merge?
Well, I think the obvious thing is the principle of racism, the discrimination in terms of belief or color or creed or practice or tradition, all those things. To judge people on a divisive way because of those kinds of things is, for me, unethical. And certainly for Bonhoeffer as well, he just didn't buy into that. So that's the kind of essential basis. And also, I think the extreme form of nationalism. It's just, it kind of opposes any kind of individual value.
Well, thank you so much for joining me here today. I wish you the best of luck with your show.
So much.
And now it's time for you to speak your piece. Here are our Fringe Reviews.
Like Fringe on, baby.
The play that I went to see was called In Between, done by a 15-year-old girl. It was related to life between heaven and earth after death, her experiences. It was a whirlwind of activity. I can't describe it all, but it was extremely well done, and 15 years old, she's going to be something to watch for in the future.
I wanted to dance naked in the rain on a hot and humid day and feel so comfortable with myself and not have a care in the world. I wanted to be the first woman ever to play in the NBA. I wanted to be tough and quick and just as good as those guys.
I would give In Between a 3 to 4 lava lamp rating.
Last night I saw Gem Rolls. Gem Rolls is a fantastic wordsmith that just spouts an hour of poetry that he's made up at breakneck speed. It's incredible. I really enjoyed it, although you had to listen really hard to get all of those magical words.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Well, I wouldn't like to say, because there's two sides to every story, and I'm so busy understanding both of them, I forget, quite blankly, which one I agree with, which can make me, quite frankly, rather difficult to be with. Look at my DNA. That's Y DNA. That's Y as a prefix. It's not a double helix, it's a noodle of question marks, strung out all consecutive, meaning everything is a possibility.
Gem Rolls gets 4.5 lava lamps from me.
If you haven't had a chance to check out our web cafe here in Old Market Square, come on down to the Glass Onion, where you can actually speak your piece online. Or you can check it out at home. Just go to cbc.ca/Manitoba. And I also have something to give away here, yet again, a nice funky retro t-shirt from CBC. Just call the number on our screen. I'll take the 7th caller, the number below on our screen. And make sure to join me tomorrow, because we'll wrap things up here at the Fringe with a good old-fashioned love-in. Back to you, Marissa.
Thanks, Barb, the CBC's arts reporter, Barb.